welcome into the show. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. As always, thank you so much for clicking on today's show and hanging out here with us as we do some Niners draft talk. Coming up here on the show, hope everybody out there is having a fantastic week. We're going to take a look at the updated Niners pre-draft visits tracker so far. All of the players who have or are scheduled to meet with the Niners in the lead up to the 2025 NFL Draft at the end of this month. Naturally, we segue to today's poll question. I want to see your draft knowledge down in the comments section here. Who do you want San Francisco to draft in the first round? Let me know down in the comments section right now. I'd be happy if the Niners went with this player here to my right, edge rusher Mike Green out of Marshall. Really like the player. I know he has some character concerns, and sometimes that can be a no-go for a lot of teams across the NFL. If that checks out, though, I think that he can be one of the best pass rushers in this class, maybe even the second best defensive end outside of Abdul Carter. He is a high-energy pass rusher with twitch, bend, speed, and explosiveness off the edge, and I think all of those things translate to the next level. He has natural and instinctive pass rush moves and a series of moves that allows him to win in a variety of ways along the line of scrimmage against some offensive tackles. Some people will say, well, he played at Marshall. I have worries about him being at a small school. Started his college career at Virginia. ACC football is no joke. And this past year, he played against Ohio State, played very well against the Buckeyes offensive line where 3 players are probably going to get drafted the first couple of days of the NFL draft. They were excellent. Mike Green popped off. And I love the production this past year because of all of the aforementioned skills and traits. Led the nation with 17 sacks and 22.5 TFLs. Smart, instinctual player who at the NFL Combine talked openly about some of the character concerns. So again, if that checks out, the Niners have a massive need at defensive end opposite of Nick Bosa. This player here could be an absolute stud. This next player here, Landon Jackson out of Arkansas, I think is more of a second or third round player. He had a really good NFL Combine. Once he transferred from LSU to Arkansas, he added 40 pounds. He's a high-energy player with a great motor, has a lot of muscle mass, as you can see, huge body, strong lower half. My issue with him does have a lack of bend. And sometimes that can be a problem with trying to get to the quarterback, but he is very powerful. So he can win with some power, strength, and bull rush moves, but he's not going to beat you with speed and bend off the edge. He did have a great game against Alabama in 2023 where he wrecked their game plan. And that really turned the heads of a lot of NFL scouts. Okay body control, but Niner fans would love this player because he's tough as nails, has a nonstop motor, and plays through the whistle. Mykel Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia. I personally like his teammate better, Jalin Walker. He's one of my guys in this draft class with Walker. I love the versatility where on a third down, he's a really twitched up, talented pass rusher with pass rushing and sack production, but he can also serve as an off-ball coverage linebacker at a really high level. Love his character, love his leadership, love the body type, and I just think all of that translates to the next level. For Mykel Williams, as compared to Jalin Walker, more of an unknown commodity. Now, Williams will explode out of his stance and into blocks with force. He can turn speed into power very quickly, needs to improve his base strength. He does have a chance to be a very good 4-3 defensive end, but he's still learning moves and counters. Does have a big bull rush so far with that power. Good secondary effort. The closing burst and speed is good. He's not quite there yet. The 2024 season, a little bit disappointing because he was hampered by an ankle injury. I just don't want Mykel Williams to be another Robert Beal. Robert Beal had speed coming off the edge. Has no moves to his pass rush arsenal. And I just think if Jalin Walker's on the board as compared to Mykel Williams, you go Jalin Walker every time. And I think that versatility with Walker is just so fascinating. One of my favorite players for the Niners and one of my favorite overall players in this class is Walter Nolen. former #1 overall recruit in his high school class. He does have speed, explosive get-off, and twitch at the snap of the football. He's really good at getting after the quarterback as a pass rusher and can win with quick, twitchy moves. He also graded out very well as a run stopper. What the Niners need is an athletic, explosive defensive tackle who can collapse the pocket, muddy up the pocket, sack the quarterback, and provide Robert Saleh with an interior pass rush, and a defensive tackle who can stop the run. Walter Nolen is both of those things. And I think that he would be a great pick for the Niners. At this point, I don't think it's a reach if the Niners go with him at number 11. I love the fact that he has a pre-draft visit with San Francisco. You'll also really like his motor. Omarr Norman-Lott. This is more of a day 2, day 3 player, an undersized interior defender out of Tennessee who's going to need to specialize in penetration and havoc creation in a one-gapping scheme. He does have some pretty good quickness at the snap. He's talented as far as his football IQ, reading, and beating blocks. He is also a rangy run defender, another player with a good motor. Niners, they love players like that. He has a full tank of gas, and throughout the course of a 60-minute ball game, he'll run it down to empty. He could struggle against downhill rushing attacks aimed at him, but I am curious at the future development. TJ Sanders out of South Carolina, an interior defensive lineman. He is a good player, and he's a really good athlete at 6'4", 297. This is a really good and deep defensive tackle class, and Sanders has the potential to be a late first or a second-round pick. I don't think he's in play at number 11, nor should he be. He did have 8.5 sacks and 16.5 TFLs over his final 2 seasons and has a lot of pass rush upside at the NFL level. More to get to here on the show, but first, today's 49ers Report, sponsored by Game Time. If you're like me, you love going to games and experiencing sporting events. I realized this as a kid. Sports are so cool because they bring people of all walks of life together, and I love experiencing those atmospheres. You can experience those atmospheres with Game Time, but you can also go to concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and a whole lot more. I talk sports for a living. Sometimes I need to unplug. I need to laugh and go to a comedy show. I need to jam out to some music. And with Game Time, you can do that. And it's a great app because they give you the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. They have flash deals and zone deals. You can save up to 60% off with some of those features. And you're guaranteed to get the lowest price. Or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It's also awesome how you can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. The San Francisco Giants off to a great start as the Major League Baseball season is underway. And Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier. The Golden State Warriors gearing up for the NBA playoffs. I think they have a realistic chance to make a run and represent the West in the NBA Finals. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Use that code CHATSPORTS, $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. So Kelvin Banks is a player who I've discussed here on the show before. The Niners met formally with him at the NFL Combine. I did a little bit of an interview with him, and he primarily played left tackle at Texas. Very experienced player who went up against some really quality edge rushers throughout his college career. He held his own. And I asked him, did the Niners ask you about playing right tackle to replace Colton McKivitz? And he said, oh yeah, they did. He's a 3-year starter, and he's really gone to battle in the trenches with current and future pros. He's going to come into the league as a player who I think can be an early starter right from the jump. His run blocking a little bit more pro-ready than his pass protection, but he's a good scheme fit. Steve Sarkisian running a lot of the similar offensive concepts as Kyle Shanahan. He is technically sound. He is scrappy in the ground game. He moves well, ran just over 5 seconds in the 40-yard dash. I like the quickness and the athleticism to get off of blocks and to get to that second and third level. Sometimes I don't like how he's unbalanced. There were a little bit too many times, or a little bit too often, I should say, using better English, where he found himself on the ground. And with a player with that ability and that size, I don't want to see him on the ground. I think he needs to improve his anchor because of that. His hand placement can use some work, but he should become a long-time NFL starter at either tackle or guard. He has some positional versatility there. Miles Frazier out of LSU, 4-year starter who classifies as a physical short area guard with good height, weight, and length. He has a lot of pop at the line of scrimmage, really strong hands. He can maul as an offensive lineman. I like the nastiness and the aggressiveness to his game. Comfortable on pull blocks, lead blocks, getting around the end on those pull blocks. He's always comfortable there. Sometimes has difficulties with some reach blocks and some second-level cutoffs. The foot quickness, it's solid and adequate. I wouldn't say it's elite. He's a little bit tight in his knees at times, and so sometimes he lacks some of that bend, and that anchor can be a little bit of an issue. Has some things to clean up, but he does have pro measurables, and he's an extremely experienced player. And I think with his play demeanor, how nasty he is, he can be an NFL starter for a long time. Tight end 2, we'll see what the Niners do because they did sign Luke Farrell to that contract to bring him in behind George Kittle. Luke Farrell, one of the top blocking tight ends in the NFL, but what's the future of that position with Kittle entering the final year of his deal? For Jalin Conyers out of Texas Tech, he has size, he has athletic talent. He could become a surprise player in this draft class if he really commits to his work off the field. I don't always love hearing that, and the Niners want players who love ball and who are always all about ball. For Conyers, the route running needs some work. He's probably faster than he is quick and twitchy, but does have the size and ball skills to win when contested. And then there's Harold Fannin, who this past year with Bowling Green had one of the most productive tight end seasons in the history of college football. He was targeted over 100 times. He had more than 100 catches for over 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns. The Niners were said to really like the player. Now, there was a bogus report out there that they could take him at the end of the first round if they move into the back end of that first round. He is not a round 1 player. He's not that tall. His 40-yard dash wasn't that great. He's a little bit limited as an athlete. If he lines up in the slot, I think slot nickel corners are going to have their way with him because he does lack some of that speed. He is a good contested catch tight end who can play maybe a little bit of fullback at the NFL level, a little bit of a tweener. But this could be a case of, man, he was productive in college for a reason because he just makes plays. I'm curious to see how the athleticism translates to the next level and how his production follows suit. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram, by the way, at Chase_Senior. I put out so much Niners content here on YouTube. I do the same on my social media pages.